Queensland side onto the field right now, led by their skipper, Wally Lewis. This is the full team. Colin Scott, John Rebo, Mitch Brennan, Mal Meninga, Kerry Bowstead, Wally Lewis, Mark Murray, Paul Borton, Paul McCabe, Bruce Walker, Paul Kahn, John Dowling, Rowan Hancock. Arthur Beetson, the coach. And now the New South Wales side, led by their skipper Max Krilic. This is the full team. Greg Brentnell, Chris Anderson, Michael Cronin, Steve Rogers, Ziggy Niscott, Alan Thompson, Steve Mortimer, Ray Price, John Muggleton, Tony Rampling, Craig Young, Max Krilic, John Coveney. And the coach, Frank Stanton. Greeted with boos and jeers by the Queensland crowd, who are really steamed up to give their side a right royal welcome for every good thing they do. And the referee for this fixture, and I don't envy him, it's going to be a tough one, is Mr. Roberts, Kevin Roberts. Queensland side have started their singing. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back with the action from the kickoff. It's New South Wales to kick off. I can see very little wind insofar as the flags are flying. Barry Ross is on the sideline, might be able to inform us a little better on that.
Well, I'll just wait till the national anthem finishes, Rex.
Players standing now for the national anthem. And this is a fairly huge crowd. Hold on. I can't hear the band at all. Righto, here we go. New South Wales kicking off, running from right to left in their sky blue uniform. And it's Queensland to receive the ball in their maroon. It's Scott in possession and Barry Ross on the sideline.
And I know exactly how the Christians felt in the Roman Arena many years ago. Rex, there's tremendous atmosphere down here on the sideline before this very big Queensland crowd. Almost windless conditions down here. A perfect night for football, but very long in the grass. And with the dew on the ground, the players could find a little slippery as the night goes on.
All right, we've got Queensland being failing to get off the tackle player as the ruling. And we've got the first penalty of the match. That went against John Coveney. Mal Meninga. Very large man for a centre. He could just as easily play in the front row, the size of it. Now he'll be doing the goal kicking for the Queensland side. Strong, hard burst by Rowan Hancock. About 8 yards from halfway. Little Murray, I notice. I haven't seen him play before, the halfback of this Queensland side.
Yes, he did play last year at 5'8" for Queensland, Rex, down at Leichhardt Oval.
And we've got Roberts penalising New South Wales for inside the 5. That's about 2 metres inside the Queensland half. Meninga again. I notice Mitch Brennan is still wearing his white boots, even though he's in the maroon uniform. Now come Queensland up in a strong attacking position about 30 metres out from the New South Wales line. Dowling. Hooker into the quarter. Murray standing on the open. Vaughton runs wide, gets it away there to Walker. Teammate, he's belted back a yard. Muggleton was one of the defenders. Price the other. Dowling, Murray, run around move. Murray goes around and he's put down on the quarter. Now we're going to have a player spoken to here.
New South Wales prop Craig Young.
And a punch was thrown, according to Roberts. Any more of it, he says, and you'll go. The crowd really incensed at that one, but that's the third penalty in a row to Queensland, and this is within kicking range. Mal Meninga is a kicker of note and has been for quite a few seasons for the Queensland side. Kicked 39 goals from 56 attempts, which is a success rate of about 69.6%.
Yes, and he loves these State of Origin games, Rex. He's kicked 12 from 14 in the two State of Origin games and scored 2 tries for a total of 30 points for Queensland in just the 2 State of Origin games.
And there's the stat that we were talking about, 39 from 56, 69.6% success rate. This is about 8 yards in from the sideline, 3 yards out from the quarter. Breeze nil. High, and it's there. Listen to the roar. Now that says it all. Queensland 2, New South Wales 0. We've had 3.5 minutes of play. Succession of penalties got the New South Wales side walking backwards. And Scott takes it again. Rides one tackle, 20 yards out from his line, midfield. Dowling throwing the dummy. Got a 5-metre gain. Thompson the tackler. Walker, Murray. And Rowan Hancock running into a power of defence there. Dowling. Lewis, a beautiful pass from Lewis. And number 9 there, Paul McCabe, standing wide. Nearly got himself into the clear. Brennan, Murray, Lewis, the dummy. Can't release the ball. Rampling was clinging to him like a limpet. Dowling. Paul Kahn. And that's the 6. I noticed the New South Wales fullback Brentnell was standing particularly deep, but no kick came from the Queensland side. Queensland backs up very flat. There's a penalty to New South Wales. You must face square on, says referee Roberts. The crowd letting him know they don't like that very much. Differential penalty. Brentnell drops the ball very low before he kicks it and gets a lot of distance. Mortimer holds it up, kicks it over the head. It's not a bad looking kick. New South Wales comes streaming through and it's knocked dead over the dead ball line by a New South Welshman out to the quarter.
That's that Canterbury move, Brentnell and Mortimer together.
Well, it was a beautifully judged kick. It landed well and truly in the end goal, and New South Wales players were there, but nobody could get to it cleanly. Brentnell tried.
Yes, I think they scored a try against Illawarra with that very move.
There's McCabe standing wide again. He looks as though he's been instructed to stand out among the centres. Dowling. He's had a very auspicious start, Dowling. He's done very well in the opening stanza. Rebo. Dowling, Murray, Dowling. As Hancock, hard and straight. He's a little bit like a runaway locomotive, this Rowan Hancock, when he takes off. Chunky, solid build. Murray. Well, New South Wales have virtually not had the ball in the opening 6.5 minutes. A little kick through by Lewis. McCabe's there, but New South Wales finally fall on it? I think it was Ray Price. Thompson. Offside, Queensland. And again, the noise, the boos. Brentnell, watch how low he drops the ball before he kicks it. That was only about 6 or 8 inches from the ground. A drop punt. Very accurate. Now Krilich to restart. Craig Young. That's a bit of a serve from Paul Kahn. Krilich. Strong defence there from Paul McCabe. Mortimer holding it up. Straight through goes Ziggy Discott. Coming in from the wing. He was moving. Mortimer. Thompson. Little grubber kick through. Rogers is going to get to this, I think. Kicked it too hard. Over the dead ball line. It was on. It was a nicely judged little kick. And Thompson just perhaps kicked it a fraction too hard. Quick restart has got Paul Kahn 8 yards outside his quarter. From there, Meninga evades one tackle. Strong big man, they'll have to get underneath him. Murray. Belted backwards, 10 yards out from his quarter. 2-0 the score. There's another little kick over the top. And well fielded there for New South Wales by Coveney. Kick through. Niscott has it. And he loses about 5 yards. The defence up very quickly. Lewis was there and Vaughton. Ray Price. Oh, Cronin couldn't handle that. It was a low pass. Gets a good one back that to Price. And New South Wales start to move it now. Back inside it goes from Muggleton. And Rogers is tackled about 11 yards from halfway. Krilich, Mortimer, Craig Young. Queensland up very, very quickly in defence. Mortimer. Tony rampling around the blind side of that ruck. Krilich still goes blind. On the blind side, that is. Chris Anderson was coming infield then. The pass went out and over the sideline. Scrum 5 metres into New South Wales half. Mortimer to feed. He's talking to the referee, saying when. That's a Queensland ball. Rebo on the wing has picked it up. Bruce Walker was a dummy half. It's a bad pass. Mitch Brennan loses it. Thompson has it. And New South Wales get it on the first tackle. Krilich going for a little sprint. Got a 7-yard gain. Thompson. Coveney. That right knee of his that he had surgery on, heavily strapped. A little knock on by Muggleton. He can ill afford that sort of thing. John Dowling, 165 from 281. He's won. That's another one. Success rate of about 58.7%. Offside again, New South Wales. Roberts in the opening 11 minutes being pretty heavy with the penalties. They're 4-2 in favour of Queensland at this stage. The scrum's at 2-0 Queensland's way. Meninga's big right foot puts Queensland again in a strong attacking position. Lewis having a chat there. Now Rebo restarts. Lewis. He's a beautiful passer of the football. There's Hancock very nearly through, and a great tackle from Ray Price picked him off. Dowling. There's Scott, the fullback, who loves to come into the three-quarter line.
Rex, and there's been a frantic call to the sideline here from Chris Anderson. He's calling for Resin, and Brad Izzard has raced into the New South Wales dressing room looking for some. They're having trouble with the ball. The dew on the ground is causing the ball to be very, very slippery.
Well, that's interesting. Queensland Still on attack, about 30 metres out. Paul Vaughton. Up the blind side. Good defence there from Craig Young. And Price again. He's getting through a mountain of work already. Lewis, the dummy, straightens. Unloads nicely to Murray. That pass to Meninga's on the ground. It's still on the ground. Postbed has it. Gets a pass away magically to Bruce Walker. Walker evades one tackle.
And
Still going.
Wally Lewis has been flattened in back play as he got that pass away.
Dowling on the inside to Paul Kahn. Lewis very groggy there. He's still on his hands and knees in the New South Wales quarter. Rowan Hancock lobs a pass back to Murray. Out it comes to Vaughton. Vaughton steps back on the inside. He had men on the out. Still gets a pass away to Murray. Anthony Roberts counting off these tackles. Rebo midfield. A bullocking gain of about 8 yards. Dowling. Murray loses the ball. It's still Queensland's possession. They're really throwing it around. Lewis puts up a high bomb. Brentnall's going up for it now and comes up with the ball. He really is magic on these high bombs. Anderson threaded the needle there with a little run from dummy half. Mortimer. Muggleton. Nicely to Cronin. Oh, well tackled. That was Mitch Brennan. Mortimer. Craig Young. And having a forceful game. Back to Brentnall. A long defensive punt downfield. Won't go anywhere near the sideline. Scott has it. And Bostad outside him, but Scott's evaded one tackle. And it's a good run. 8 yards from halfway. Dowling from dummy half. Up the blind. No dummy half. Bostad. Murray. Kahn, clever stuff. Vaughton. Murray puts it down. New South Wales. Price has it. Coveney. It came off his foot. Muggleton drops it. Uncomfortable opening 13 minutes for Johnny Muggleton. He's had a knock-on from dummy half and dropped that one without a great deal of pressure. Of course, these young men from New South Wales that haven't played in this atmosphere here before are going to be a bit overawed. You can see clearly that that is against New South Wales for loose arm against Max Krilich. Meninga. And that's 8 yards into New South Wales half. Bostad. Dowling's a dummy half. There's that Rowan Hancock. Kahn switches it. Walker. Nicely away to Scott. Scott's weaved his way. Had Vaughton on the outside with Bostad. Couldn't unload. Vaughton. Murray. Lewis. Belted down. Ray Price getting pushed away by Dowling. And oh, good passing. Meninga's been put into a half a gap. They're only about 15 yards out. I think it's the last tackle. And we've got Ray Price claiming he's been bitten. And the penalty goes to the Queensland side. See the tackle again. Here's the tackle coming up. Price hanging onto him there. Well, that's a bit indeterminate. You can see the punch going in. And I think there was a word. Here's the head-on shot of it. Might get a better angle on it. Price number 8. No, indeterminate. We couldn't see anything, but Price definitely threw a punch. coming from almost directly in front and only about 20 yards out. Listen to the roar. Queensland 4, New South Wales 0 in the third State of Origin match, and they've won the previous two in 80, 81. Well, it's 17, nearly 18 minutes of play in this first half, and New South Wales have had precious little possession. That penalty count is eroding their opportunities with the ball. What is it? 6-2, the penalties. 2-0 the scrums. A long floating pass out to Rebo. Upfield, runs straight over the top of Steve Rogers, but he finally put him down. It's a pass getting given away there. Rebo scoops up the dregs, but he's caught by one leg. Cronin was there. Dowling trying to skirt the blind side. Perhaps overdoing the running from dummy half a little bit, there's Dowling, in my view. Murray. Intercept by Max Krilich. Stole the ball from Dowling's hands. Mortimer. Coveney, straight and hard. Mortimer. Krilich. Thompson. Cronin did marvellously well to take that. He was hit the moment he took it, and he still managed to hold on to that. Craig Young. Bretnell. Long pass has gone back into Muggleton. Scoops it up. Good tackle there by Lewis. Mortimer. Rampling. Having a little bit of difficulty getting himself into the attacking pattern of the side, understandably. Mortimer resorting to the bomb. Bretnell there, the ball's bounced, nobody wants it. Who's got it? Bretnell gets it away to Mortimer. Mortimer's got it out to Muggleton. Muggleton's going hard and close. Pass back inside to who's that? Number 5, and Ziggy Niscott. And Niscott in for the try. Yes, indeed. Well, they should never have let that ball bounce from the bomb. That's what brought them undone. And Bretnell, how good was he? Watch it go up. Now he's onside, Bretnell. Quite definitely. He waits. Scott didn't seem to want to go too. Well, he got impeded by one of his own players. Bretnell, the good pass out to Mortimer. Muggleton, nicely got himself on the outside. Defied the tackle, got a pass into Ziggy Niscott, who did it on his knees from head on. Mortimer. Bretnell from about 4 yards behind Mortimer came through well. Watch Scott get impeded by one of his own players. Bretnell, the selective pass to Mortimer. That lovely pass out to Muggleton, who got very close to getting around Bowstead. Bowie, too small a man to make the tackle totally effective. Back into Niscott. So Queensland now only the 4-3 lead. And this man, Cronin, in great form. From the sideline, over it goes. New South Wales 5, Queensland 4. Back to halfway. Telecast brought to you by Mazda and your local Mazda dealer. Lewis the kickoff. Bretnell the catcher. Dummy to kick it straight away, but elected to run up to the quarter.
And as Mick Cronin was lining up that kick, Rex, Alf Richards was out in the field with some magic spray to put on the New South Wales players' hands, so maybe their handling will improve a little from now on.
And that's going to be a penalty against Paul Kahn for an attempted head-high tackle, one thinks, on Max Krilich. See it again. I think Max slipped slightly. It made it look a little worse than it was. Here it is. Yes, it was a stiff. I'm sorry, Genghis. It was a stiff. It missed. Probably just as well it did. He might have been walked.
What a great kick for the line from the middle of the field.
Does he do any other kind?
That's right.
Krilich. Coveney. Courageous player, Coveney, who's got only one way to go. That's straight at the opposition. Rampling. A run around, Coveney, Mortimer. Beautiful pass. Ziggy Niscott on the fly, still going. And taking a power of pulling down. It took three of them into the quarter. Muggleton. Thompson. Quillich. Oh, he's right through. He's gone. I think he had support on the outside, but he's taken the tackle. It's a great darting run by the little New South Wales skipper. Mortimer's kick may be a little hard. It's in the end goal, and they're quite happy to just strut that over the dead ball line. It'll be a line drop to restart, and New South Wales coming alive. 22 and a half minutes gone. Now Brentnell. 5-3, the New South Walesmen lead. About 30 metres out. Anderson. Oi! Ran into a brick wall. Quillich. Craig Young on the surge. Inside the quarter. When the front row forwards can get beyond the advantage line, a side's got a chance. Oh, what a pass out to Rogers. Took it well, still going. And heavily slammed down by Meninga. Muggleton. Beautiful run from Muggleton. Oh, he's gone close. He's got to pass away. It's gone to Queensland. That was a great slicing run by the young Parramatta player who's already been involved in one try after a nervous start. But unfortunately for him, the pass was intercepted at the critical moment. Rebo belts one tackler, two. That's a typical bit of Rebo power. Dowling, Khan. I think, Barry, this Khan's got a marvellous opportunity if he can produce some of his ball magic to get himself on that selector's shortlist.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Rex, with the way he can put a pass through. And
oh, what a bounce. They're all offside, of course. Now, Niscott has come inside Bosted, who takes him right round the boots with the help of Brennan. Thompson, Mortimer, Brentnell. Nice pass to Cronin, who still stands there like the Rock of Gibraltar. Quillich from dummy half without support. Thompson sprints to dummy half. 5-4, New South Wales lead. We've had 25 minutes of play. I really am in awe of Cronin's football ability. He is one of the finest players I have ever seen. Mortimer electing to go bomb again. Brentnell was onside. He leaps high. It's been lost. New South Wales come up with it through Brentnell. 6 to go. Brentnell. Long pass out to Rogers. Cronin elects not to sell the dump to his winger. New South Wales. Look at Coveney, ready to come hard and straight. There he goes. And pulls the defence in. That's good stuff from a front rower. Mortimer, lovely pass to Price. Pivots out of two tackles. He's like a corkscrew. He went one way and then the other. Mortimer. Oh, long lob pass. Anderson can't half volley it. And it was a try on for all seasons there, but Anderson just couldn't get the half volley going. The pass came to him from Rampling. Critical scrum now for Max Quillich because he's not got himself on the stats sheet yet. Oh, he has now. Thompson. Cronin with one of his bulldozing type runs. Takes the ball magnificently under pressure. Anderson, Rogers. Rogers slicing through. Enormously strong man, Rogers, for a player who's a three-quarter. Beautiful pass to Niscott. He's in. Oh, yeah. And Bosted complaining to his defenders that he couldn't cover two of them, and he was a bit right. He was left for dead. There's the electronic scoreboard, which says it all. See it again. Now, this is how it came about. Rogers had burrowed and weaved, and Muggleton watched the pass. It's great stuff from this young man. Niscott's on the outside of Bosted, and after a nervous start, Muggleton is starting to do some magic things here. That little stutter there and pulled the defenders to him. Niscott, like a good winger, used his strength to get through the Bosted tackle. Yes, a little team talk necessary there. 8-4. New South Wales lead, and this magic man, Cronin, from the sideline. Yes, you can see the other little mound of sand is where he had his previous kick from. He should know the direction. He kicked the last one. Niscott, 2 tries. Coming back. It's there. Cronin. If he sat out in water, he'd rust. New South Wales 10, Queensland 4. And a grim-faced Wally Lewis brings them back to halfway. The Maroons in a little bit of trouble as Brentnell feels that inside the quarter. Gets round the defence, and like the good player he is, stays away from the sideline. Price. Coveney, hard. Good sort of a fin there, knocked Bruce Walker out of the way.
Yes, he's holding his ribs, and that's the second time he's been down with that same injury.
Well, Walker in a little bit of trouble. He's carrying his injury at the moment. A lovely pass out there to Price from Mortimer. Oh, a long sweeping pass back to Mortimer. Thompson. 2 yards short of the halfway line. Kulich. Mortimer. Muggleton. Good diagonal run back on the inside, chopping against the defence. Kulich. Mortimer. Lovely pass out to Price. Price dropped. Tried to get a little pass away to Anderson, but was put down before he could do it. 30 minutes gone. 10 points to 4, the scoreline. New South Wales lead. Another scrum win to Kulich against the feed. Rogers. Fell awkwardly then. Oh, he's okay. Cronin. All rambling, hit hard. No big pardons there. That was Murray, the little halfback. Mortimer. Back inside to Craig Young. Selectively. For Coveney. Coveney's going like a maddened bull in this match too. Mortimer decked by Scott there. By Murray. Kulich. Power play now from New South Wales. Really turning it on. Mortimer elects to kick. He's kicked back to Brentnell. It's been belted over the dead ball line again by a Queenslander, and it is a line dropout. Meninga with 9 minutes to half-time. New South Wales side with a little bit of possession has come alive in the last 15 minutes. Brentnell 30 yards out. This got a dummy half. Offside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, says Mr. Roberts, as they bring over the that magic man, Mick Cronin. Well, in my news on the 7 Network News on Monday night, when I did my rugby league roundup, I was tongue-in-cheek, showed a missed goal by Cronin in the match his side had last weekend. I showed the one he missed because he kicked the previous 11 in consecutive order, and the man is in hot form.
That was against Illawarra, Rex, but he did get married last Friday night.
Well, he's given his new bride a magnificent wedding present. There's another penalty, and at 12 points to 4, scoreline New South Wales way, and we have 8 minutes to half-time. Scrum is 2-all. Penalties now are 6 to 4 in Queensland's favour. Anderson has it. Viscott, Muggleton, Coveney, Price, Cronin, all having top games. Craig Young too has put in a pretty solid effort.
Yes, and Steve Mortimer not doing much running, but content to get his backs moving.
Rogers caught by one leg. Nisgod. Mortimer, a little chip over the top. He was interfered with slightly. Play on, says the referee, as Brennan comes up with it. Will knock that way. Bosted. Referee talking to the New South Wales players, telling them to get back. Lewis, that pass of his was drilled about 30 yards. There's Walker. That won't have done his ribs any good. Cronin the tackler. Again, Cronin the tackler. I think that must be what he does with his bulls up on the farm there. Lewis, lovely pass. Oh, it's just dropped too short, which Brennan can't recover. Yes, he can. So he stops New South Wales getting it. The play breaks down. Scrum midway between New South Wales quarter and halfway. There's a penalty. It's against Mortimer for a dummy and an incorrect feed. Differential penalty. 6 minutes to half-time. 12-4, New South Wales. We're doing our usual Man of the Match award in this game. Player will be the recipient of $400 and hopefully appear on Sports World next week. All those players will be judged, and at the end of the year we'll be giving a magnificent prize to the Mazda Footballer of the Year, and he'll be the recipient of a great RX-7 motor car valued at nearly $18,000. Similarly, try of the match, the man most responsible for it will receive $150. Lewis, switch across the ruck to Rowan Hancock. Continuing on, Dowling, a long pass out there to Paul Kahn. Not able to work his handling magic. Offside, Max Krilic. Right there. This will give Meninga an easy shot. Coming up with his third attempted goal. 2 successes. The end of the year when we've judged all the magnificent tries that we've had on our weekly telecasts. The man most responsible for the try of the year, a mighty Mazda 626 sedan. $9,000 worth of motor car. A couple of great awards. In this match too, the Tackle of the Week competition. Looking for the corrugated paper Tackle of the Week. Some bonus prizes for that. Meninga. Straight over the black dot. So Queensland come back. The scoreboard tells us it's a goal. New South Wales 12, Queensland 6. Cronin to restart the play. Incidentally, just talking about that corrugated paper tackle of the year in last year's State of Origin match, it was the tackle by Eric Growth on Colin Scott that got him the award. It was a superb tackle. He also got a bit of a serve from Chris Close. But that's another story. Any sign of any changes on either side, Barry?
No, I'm right here amongst the New South Wales reserves, and they're egging their teammates on, but there's no sign of any changes.
Bruce Walker for Queensland, is he still having problems with that rib?
Well, I think he's still having problems, but I think this place to half-time, they'll wait and see how he goes and decide at the break.
Khan. The pass gone to Rebo, but it's offside. Mortimer was there anyway. And Mortimer didn't go on with the tackle, and Rebo didn't go on with the fend. So it's been called a forward pass, not an offside pass. Let's have that scrum again, says referee Roberts. Full loose arm. Differential. By our clock, we've got 2 minutes. I notice the ground clock says only 1 minute. Or 1.5 according to the electronic timer. Oh, the Brentnell kick puts them in a very strong position. New South Wales, the backward kick again. Scott's going to take that into the in goal, and he's belted over the dead ball. That will give New South Wales the ball again. I think that was a little bit repetitive. Not much element of surprise on that one. Brentnell. A wall of defenders there, about 8 yards outside the Queensland quarter. Mortimer. Magic run. Brentnell, the big dummy, tackled on the quarter line. Error situation. New South Wales 5, Queensland 4. That's the number of times each side's given the ball back. Mortimer kick again. Bosted takes it well. Tackled in a friendly fashion, I thought, by Steve Rogers. Bosted being patted on the back there by Mitch Brennan. Only seconds to go. 8, 7, 6.
If this ball comes to Brentnell, he may have a go at field goal. No, it didn't.
Ray Price is.
Yes.
No, he's not. He dummies. There's the hooter. So at the half-time break, we've got a scoreline that reads New South Wales 12, Queensland 6. The New South Wales tries have come from 2 to Ziggy Niscott and 3 goals from 3 attempts to Michael Cronin. For the Queensland side, 3 goals from 3 attempts, all penalties to Mal Meninga. The scrum situation is 2-all. The penalty situation is 8-5. Everything to play for. We've got no sign of any serious injury. Walker was the only player that seemed to have some minor problem, but we'll know about that shortly. Barry Ross will be in the dressing rooms. Then we'll be back with all the action of the second half of Seven's Big League in just a moment. Okay. Is Barry in position yet, do you know? Well, the New South Wales side coming back onto the field, and we're just looking at the Queensland side who are already on, and we can't see any changes in either side at this moment. Well, Barry Ross is just coming out right now. We'll be able to get a report in just a few seconds' time on the tactics that the coaches are going to adopt or rectify.
Yeah.
You there, Barry?
Yes.
Okay, now what's the story?
Well, there's no changes on either side.
And what was said as far as Queensland were concerned?
Well, Arthur Beecham had very little to say. I did ask him about Bruce Walker's condition. He just said he's all right. We'll be leaving him on for a while to see how he goes. I don't think Arthur's all that happy with his team. He's looking at defeat down the barrel, staring at defeat down the eyes this time for the first time in these State of Origin games, and Arthur was rather placid to what he normally is. Frank Stanton, meanwhile, he's got his team playing percentage football. He just says we're not to make any mistakes at all. The boys are quite all right at half-time. There was a little concern about Chris Anderson's wrist, but he's gone out there with the wrist strap.
All right, Mortimer's gone for a little stab punt to make ground, but it must have just gone out over the sideline.
Well, it was one of those things, Rex, right in front of us here on the line. You could see it bring the chalk up, and of course on the line is out on the full.
Right, Mortimer to feed, midway between his quarter and half wide. That's a scrum win to New South Wales. Thompson steps round Lewis. Good break. That could have been a penalty. Vaughton held onto his teammate's leg. Price weaves away through. Quick play the ball. Goes the blind side. Mortimer back inside to Rampling. Rampling, a very willing young man. Now Muggleton got a pass away to Rampling, but it was knocked off. And Frank Stanton won't be happy with that. That was a little bit too rapid. Didn't give Rampling a chance, really. Here's the Krilic situation as far as scrums are concerned. And there's a penalty from it. Scrums 145 from 255. The Krilic success rate 56.9%. And Max having a chat with Mr. Roberts about that one. Meninga. Play about 9 yards outside New South Wales quarter. 12-6, New South Wales lead. Now let's see whether this Queensland side have got some new motivation. New South Wales have got plenty of motivation the way they're defending. Crowd setting up a chant now. Murray out to Lewis. Meninga nicely to Brennan. Through one tackle, through another. Murray. Lewis, beautiful passer of the footballer is Lewis. There's Genghis Khan. A bad pass though, very bad. And it's it's Craig Young who's come up with it on the New South Wales quarter. Anderson picked off straight away. Krilic waving his team around or suggesting that they come out on the left. Still on the New South Wales quarter line. Looks like the kick's on. Bretnell. It's a towering punt. Scott has to go back for it. Takes it on the first. And runs into a wall of defenders. Price being the prime mover. Bosted. 8 yards from halfway. Run around move. Dowling. Murray again. Lewis calling for it. Putting a good kick in. That's over the sideline. And a gain of about 24 yards. Lewis and Thompson are similar in style. They both have magnificent passes. They're both great team players. Another scrum win to New South Wales. Bretnell chimes in. Out to... Oh, great tackle, but he's up on his feet again, Rogers. Knocked him down, but quickly up. Got up, played it forward, still going. Mortimer calling it for it to go out to the right. Thompson into Cronin. Brennan managed to swing the strong man off his feet. Price. Craig Young. Rampling. A little bit of a short arm cuff there. Krilic pointed at Murray. Mortimer. Price. Right through Rebo. Craig Young and Murray having an altercation. Price has Rebo. Can't get him over the sideline, so takes him to ground. Scott, a dummy half. Fair bit of shoulder in that tackle from Anderson. A little bit of niggle coming into it now. Khan. Pass was got away well. And some solid tackling taking place now. Murray, Brennan. Mortimer swung his arm there, but the referee wisely didn't penalise him because it wasn't a swing at the ball carrier. There's a beautiful pass from Lewis. Out to Rebo. Rebo through the tackle there of Thompson. But Price again, the defender. Talk about a mechanical man. Now we have a touch judge in. There was an incident involving Murray a few seconds ago that we thought he put a kick in at Mortimer. Perhaps we could see that if we can search our replay. The referee didn't think it was terribly serious. We'll get that if we can. Another scrum win to New South Wales. Cronin. That's forward. And offside. Here's the little incident. Watch number 7, Murray. This is the player we think was the player. No, nothing there. Now, Queensland with Dowling to restart. And around Hancock. 5 yards from the quarter. Coveney. Dowling. Khan. Khan not playing this type of game I would have expected him to play on this one. Lewis back inside to Scott. Through a tackle of Muggleton. 10 yards out from the New South Wales quarter. 12-6. The Blue Boys lead. Hosted swamped under defenders there. Rebo. That's a bit wasteful. Now it's to Burstead. And he clears it. Lovely pass to Lewis. Out to Brennan. Brennan can't get it away. Play on, says the referee. Knock on. No advantage. Touch judge in from the other side. I don't know what that's for. We've got a player down injured at the moment.
It's Wally Lewis is the player down injured, and just behind me here, Royce Ayliffe loosening up, so we could see a change in the New South Wales side.
Well, that might have been a head high that I've missed. Have we searched our replay? Seems to be in a bit of distress. Well, that was obviously what was about. It didn't seem to be on the face. This is the incident. Watch from Mick Cronin. I don't think the hand comes. Walker's able to release. Now, there it is. That's around the shoulder as far as I can see. Well, Lewis certainly looked as though he was a bit distressed, and he's taken a long while to be treated. And he's still down. So play on, says the referee. Scrum win to New South Wales. Price standing out. 4-0 the scrums to Krilich in the second half. That's 6-2-2. He leads. Thompson. Lewis is back. Two tries in the match, both to Niscott. Coveney. Some solid defence from both sides. Mortimer. And a little trickling grubber kick gets them up beyond halfway. We've had, according to our time, 9 minutes in the second half. referee wants this scrum repositioned midfield or infield. And he's got them, as you can see, for not facing square on. They're on an angle. Krilic is bewildered. Coveney's shakes his head in disbelief. And the penalty puts them back midway, between halfway and New South Wales quarter. 12-6, the scoreline. New South Wales. Rebo. Dowling, Murray, Walker. On the blind side comes Dowling. Khan. Got a pass away, but to me it was forward, and the referee says yes, and a knock on. Paul McCabe came up with it. Cronin trying to stand on the tackle. He succeeded and unloaded to Brentnell. Brentnell had men there. I thought he could have unloaded. Thompson, Mortimer, lovely long pass out to Muggleton, then to Cronin. Slips the tackle, straightens, back inside to Muggleton, wrapped up straight away by Dowling. Anderson, Mortimer, Craig Young. There's Coveney. Two props working together there. Krilic, Mortimer. Switch back inside to Price. Then to Tony Rampling. He's driven sideways in the tackle. Mortimer. Thompson. Cronin. Oh, nearly an intercept by Meninga, but knocked on. There was an overlap. Two men there. Had it been taken, he was going to score a try. And I think if the pass had got through successfully, there may have been a try up the other end. Another scrum win. Krilic really giving Dowling a handling. Beautiful footwork by Rogers. Now to Anderson. Comes away from the sideline and strong. Was tackled and still made 15 yards. Rogers hits him on the bottom and says, get up. Price. Borton the tackler. Krilic, Mortimer, Craig Young. Playing a strong role for the New South Wales side. There's a vastly different Craig Young than that started this season. Thompson, Brentnell, Cronin. Good defence. Mitch Brennan. And I think Cronin and Brennan had a little chat to each other then. Oh, that's a bad pass. Queensland in possession. The crowd don't like that one. It was forward from a New South Wales player. Those scrums now. Look at the statistic. He's won 6-0 in the second half as Max Krilic. Now let's see if Dowling can do it off his own feet. No. Penalty, failing to retire. Murray being told your place is at the base of the scrum. Brennan. Now watch for a few forward moves here. Mortimer. Dummy to kick. That was a bit better. He's done two of those overhead kicks. Neither came off. One nearly did. Thompson. Krilic. Back to the blind side to Craig Young. Only about 3 yards out. Coveney. Muggleton being told to get out of there by Krilic. Wants you as a runner. Mortimer. 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 Yes! He's there. It's a try. And the scoreboard confirms it. see that one again. That was a darting, tough little try. I'm interested to see how he puts the ball down. Oh, he gets it under pressure. And back he goes through the meat of the Queensland forwards. Sights the opening underneath the tackle of Khan. And that's a legitimate try. Head on. Watch for number 11, Queensland. It's Khan he beats. There. And a good try. My word.
Yes, and the pass he got from the dummy half wasn't all that good either. He had to reach from the sky to pull it down before he started the run.
3 tries to 0 to this New South Wales side. 15 points to 6 the scoreline. And Cronin having his 4th attempted goal. Been successful the previous 3. And both up again. Looked a little bit towards the right-hand upright, but the touch judges had no doubt. And there's the scoreline. New South Wales 17, Queensland 6. And Queensland are in all sorts of trouble now. Brentnell.
And as Mick Cronin was kicking that goal, Alf Richards was out with the New South Wales side with the message, work the ball for 4 tackles and then reef it down the other end of the field.
Price. The famous swivel that other players and other clubs are starting to emulate now. It's a very individual style of play. Muggleton off the edge of the ruck, loses the ball, picked up by Meninga. Nice tackle by Thompson right round the boots. Now Queensland need a try, and soon. Dowling, Lewis, nobody to pass to. Now he gets a pass away to Vaughton. All standing in a bunch behind the ruck, Queensland. No runners. Scott from dummy half. Now suddenly we've got 3 players wanting to be dummy half. Dowling, Khan, Lewis, Khan. Blows it forward. Is definitely forward. Play on, says the referee. It came off Brentnell's legs, and he's over the sideline. Touch judge in. Craig Young being cautioned. And Walker standing there too. Calm yourselves, lads, he says. The scrum situation getting fast becoming... And the crowd give Dowling a roar. He's won a scrum in the second half. It was fast becoming like a cancer in the Queensland side. They were bleeding to death on no possession. Lewis. Walker. Murray. A darting, weaving sort of a player, loses the ball, has it stolen. The referee says, I'd call tackle. And Price, who comes up with it, bangs it against his leg in disgust. I think the point has come where they've got to keep the ball. I would imagine, Barry Ross, that Frank Stanton would be smiling like a Cheshire cat.
Yes, he is, but he's still a very serious Frank Stanton. He wants to play up this end of the field, and then as we speak, Rex, Royce Aylett is going out. Frank, who's he replacing? John Muggleton is the player coming off, and Royce Aylett here with Alf Richards getting some Vaseline applied to his eyebrows, and he's going out to the New South Wales side to join them, and with the message, play the game down this end of the field.
So we've got 3 front row forwards in the field. Ray Price with the pose that we've featured so many times. I believe he does it to put the kicker off, but that doesn't seem to interfere with Meninga's accuracy. That's 4 from 4 to Meninga and 4 from 4 to Cronin. So 17 points to 8. New South Wales lead Queensland, and we've had 19 minutes of the second half. I'm just a bit disappointed for young Johnny Muggleton. I don't know whether he's injured. And we'll need to know now from the next scrum what the constitution or how the pack is constituted, because we've got 3 front row forwards on there at the moment. The error situation: New South Wales 8, Queensland 7. Number of times each side has given the ball back. The opposition. Vaughton.
And John Muggleton is here beside me, Rex, and he's got an injured hand. That's why he came off, and it looks like Royce Ayliffe will be the player to go take his place in the second row.
All right, well, they've lost a runner and got a ball user. Murray. Brennan, who's not been able to get himself into the clear at all in this match. That'll be a penalty. And New South Wales doing a few silly things in these areas. Brennan pulls Krilic to his feet. Maybe he thought the old gentleman needed a bit of help. I say that with tongue-in-cheek.
Or perhaps he wanted some plumbing done.
Right. Dowling to restart. Lewis, look at those passes that Lewis throws.
Yes, well, of course, he was an Australian Rugby Union schoolboy representative, and you need a long pass for playing 5'8" in that game.
Certainly do. But he's got his team in a bunch behind the ruck at the moment. They take a long while to sort themselves, Queensland. Lewis. There's Paul McCabe standing wide, out near the outside centre position. Lewis. And over the sideline he goes. Bosted. 17 points to 8. New South Wales with 3 tries. Krilic has come up with another one. That was the ploy of keeping his head out till the last minute and then suddenly lunging in. And Ayliffe's in the second row. Cronin. By 8 yards into. Here's Rampling running on the burst. Loves to run round the ruck. Comes from open to blind or blind to open. Going like a train. Ayliffe, number 14. Thompson. Rogers. Cronin. Nicely popped past to Brent. That was forward. No doubt in the wide world about that. Good decision by Roberts. Niscott a yard in front of the ball passer. Right on the halfway line. Crowd have got that low drone now. They're not euphoric any longer. Khan trying the dummy. He's not, as I mentioned earlier, played the type of game I would have expected. He's got some masterly ball skills. He hasn't used them. Perhaps he hasn't been allowed to use them.
Yes, I was just going to say that, Rick. The New South Wales forwards have tackled very well. He has certainly got good ball skills, as Cronulla have found out this year without him.
Yes, indeed. Well, Walker now tackled. And Queensland pattern has fallen away badly. They are not doing anything tremendously constructive. They're being frustrated into errors. Dowling, Lewis, Murray standing still passing. That's not going to get you anywhere. People are going to run onto the ball. Arthur Beetson will be pulling his hair out, I think, watching a three-quarter line standing flat and still and just unloading.
Yes, particularly with wingers like Rebo and Bosted.
Square it up, says Roberts. We've had 24.5 minutes. There's another scrum win to Krilic. Cuts out a man to Rogers. Steps. Thought he had a man unmarked out there. Cronin looked as though he could get on the outside. Thompson. Bretnell. Beautiful pass to Price. Price pops it up to Cronin. Cronin loses the ball. And that is a knock on. Ball roll forward. You could look almost a season of football and once they try to make an error like that. And the crowd roar. Queensland have come up with another one. Look at the length of that pass. But they're standing still. Rebo's at last got the ball. Unloaded. Scott was there, dropped it behind him. Anderson round the legs. Thrown it over the top. Meninga. Lewis. Vaughton. Ran into a brick wall midfield. Rampling was there. He's done some great defence. Just found it a little bit difficult getting it into attacking positions. There's Revo running from dummy half. Out of frustration coming into this maroon side now. Murray. Khan loses it forward. He could have been penalised there for being held back, Rogers. New South Wales come up with it. Rampling. Settles the play down. Pillage. Ray Price. Through one tackle. The famous pirouette. Price. I'm sorry, Mortimer. I said Price because I had him on my mind there thinking that certain players are going to be known for techniques and styles they have. And Price is certainly going to be remembered as the player who broke tackles by spinning his body. Well done, Dowling. Meninga. Good step. Into the clear. Mortimer is the mate of 3 tackles. It's away to Boasted. Bettles there. Comes back on the inside. Long pass. It's got a Rebo. And Rebo's into Queensland. Ryan, can you hear that crowd? They are stamping furiously. Look at them. Thank heavens is on the other side of that cage. Try, and worth seeing again. The run from Meninga was a great one. He's evaded 1, 2. Beautifully unloaded to Boasted on the fly on the outside. Niscott was there. The prop undid Niscott. A beautiful selective pass back inside to Rebo, who's given up trying to get it out in the left. And he came through hard and straight from head on. Dowling popped the pass to Meninga. Wrong-footed Thompson evaded the Craig Young tackle and the Mortimer tackle beautifully to Boasted. And there was Rebo trailing nicely. The kick at goal in the background was successful. Not successful. So the scoreline now, New South Wales 17, Queensland 11.
Oh, gee, that's an important miss too, because that goal would have put them within 4 points of New South Wales. As it is, they're 6 points behind and still have to score twice.
Indeed. Scrum situation. We've got them 10-4 in favour of Krilich, and they are 8-2 in the second half. The penalties are 14-6 in favour of Queensland. A massive penalty tally. Well, here's Meninga on the fly again. He's got Rebo on the outside. Crosses him off. It's a try. Must be. Brennan. And Brennan in again. That one won't be missed. Meninga has done it virtually on his own. New South Wales defence threadbare out wide. 17-14, a kick and goal to follow. It will be. There's the tackle of Steve Rogers evaded. I thought he'd gone too far, but he just threw Steve Mortimer out of the way. He had Rebo one side, Brennan the other. His decision was correct to give it to Brennan. From head on. Meninga. Look at him, inside Rogers. Rampling can't handle it. Mortimer's just pushed away. This giant of a man. And Brennan, the last 20-metre sprint on his own. And back to the action. Kill 'em, Queensland, says the sign. Wait for the roar if he kicks this.
Well, if he kicks this, Rex, they're only one behind. There would have been one in front if he had have kicked that last goal.
Well, he's kicked 4 from 5. This is his 6th attempt. And he scored all but 3 of their points. New South Wales lead. We have 10 minutes of frantic action to go.
As Mick Cronin lines up this kickoff in the background is Chris Anderson, the New South Wales winger, on the ground, and he's being taken off, it looks like, by Alf Richards.
Okay. So they're taking him from the field. New South Wales now desperate. Yes. Yardage and possession. McCabe on the boil there. Murray. Lewis cuts out a man. Meninga to Brennan, pulls that in beautifully. Thompson, tackle evaded. Still going as Brennan. Could have been shepherding there. It's a pass away to Rebo, who's decided it's no use, and it's shepherding. But I called it. I said it could have been shepherding, and that was, I believe, the correct decision. See that bit of action again. Got a touch judge on at the moment.
Yes, the touch judge is on to bring on young 20-year-old Penrith player Brad Izzard.
Now, here was the situation. Yeah, there was shepherding galore there. Now, watch Brennan. Yeah. Well, you can see quite clearly there was shepherding there. Rebo first, Brennan second. Now, Anderson being taken off. Can you find out what the injury is, Barry?
I certainly will, Rex. Yes, he's been carried off by Alf Richards and John Muggleton. I expect they'll take him straight to the dressing room, and I'll find out when Alf comes back what the story is regarding the injury.
So, 1 point the difference. 8 minutes to go, we believe, and 27 seconds. New South Wales will be desperate to keep the ball.
Yes, and according to Alf Richards, that injury by Chris Anderson, a pulled hamstring.
Hamstring gone, not real good for a winger. Pillage. Now to Craig Young. New South Wales experienced forwards have got to graft away. Aleph. No prizes for fancy football now. Ask Craig Young. It cost his team a win a long pass last week against Eastern Suburbs. Mortimer. Cronin cracks the defence. Mortimer, the little scurry, the darting run through, and his opposite number, Murray, decks him. 15 yards out. Krilic, Young, Price, Cronin, the shoulder down hard and tackled. And that's the sixth. Crowd seething here at Lang Park. Izzard now, the Penrith utility back, 5'8" in centre, is finding himself playing his first game for New South Wales on the right wing. That's a penalty. And Mr. Roberts is suggesting that Queensland weren't packing square on. I know he's penalised New South Wales that way about 3 times. That penalty count is still vast. 14-8 Queensland's way. Now they're being told to get back to the goal line. Ball boy, they should be all behind the line. There are some feet over. There's Bretnell on the surge. Got a pass away. Tony Rampling falls on it. Well, he did. Craig Young powerful player. Quillich, Mortimer, Aleph. A quick play of the ball. Mortimer, Thompson. Back on the inside to Rampling. 10 yards out. Quillich elects to go on his own. Came under a high tackle. 5 yards out. Last tackle. Mortimer. Long pass. Oh, beautifully to Izzard. Izzard's in. He's in for a try. The touch judge has kept his flag down. And on come the Cans. Well, it's a Queensland touch judge. Well, what are we going to do? There it is. New South Wales 20, Queensland 16. The head-on shot will show that one. But Izzard's only been on for 3 minutes and he scores what could be one of the most important tries of his young life from his future point of view. Aleph, beautiful, quick hands. Now watch Izzard. Yes, definitely a try, no question about it. Now watch Aleph scale this out beautifully, and the lovely pass of Mortimer, the quick hands. He avoids the Rebo tackle in part and plants it hard and fast. Well, they're not out of the woods yet. With 4.5 minutes to go, 20 points to 16. What a cliffhanger. Brannan from the sideline. He's kicked it, I believe. No. Oh, what? No. 6 inches. So a converted try will give Queensland a win. New South Wales now to attempt to get the ball from the kick-off and hold it.
Well, I've got Frank Stanton here beside me, Rex. Frank, it looked like we were going to win this game very, very well, but we're not out of the woods yet.
No, we're a long way from being out of the woods. We relaxed a little in our defence here for a while, and we've let Queensland back in the game. They've got their tails up now, but I think my Blakes are back on the road again.
Generally, they've stuck to your game plan, Frank?
Yes, they have. Quite pleased with them, actually.
Okay, just over the halfway line with 3 minutes and 38 seconds to go by the official scoreboard. Price still burrowing forward.
And as I was talking to Frank Stanton, Rex, Arthur Beetson brought off his match winner, perhaps, Mal Meninga, and Gene Miles is on the centre wearing number 15.
Ball stolen from Aleph by Lewis. That's Gene Miles in possession now in number 15. Murray beautifully popped the pass. McCabe took it, loses it, and it's a penalty against Mortimer for stealing the ball after the tackle's been effected. What's the game plan? Lewis with a kick for touch. So many good players in this match. The man of the match, and it's not going to be an easy job. Reba. 20 points to 16, remember? Rowan Hancock, who's had a quiet second half, full of vim and vigour in the first. Dowling. Scott. Time, 2 minutes 24 seconds by the electronic timer. Rebo. Khan. Mortimer the tackle. Murray falls over. Lewis directing his players, but they're in a bunch again, getting in each other's way. Rebo. Last tackle. Has to be a bomb. 1 minute 54 seconds to go. Dowling. There it goes. Lewis puts it up. Brentnell leaps high and takes it. What a magnificent take under enormous pressure. And that may well have hurt him. Well, the clock's been stopped, and Brentnell in superb touch with these leaps tonight. Several memorable ones. Let's see that again. If you don't think that was pressure, look at this. he was hit hard, but that ball was like a golden nugget and he wasn't going to lose it. He may have jolted himself. Alf Richards, you can see, saying to him, "Can you move your arm, son?" Now, Brentnall, the rule is, of course, he's given time to get up and play it. If he can't play it, there would have had to have been a scrum. The clock has restarted. 1 minute 32 seconds to go. New South Wales in possession on the second tackle. Coveney has had a very strong game for New South Wales.
So is that man.
Ray Price, well, he's a clockwork toy. He just never stops. The man that left the field, Mal Meninga, didn't play an unimportant part either.
Yes, I just heard while Brentnall was being treated that he won the man of the match up here, awarded by the press writers and so on.
Yes, well, a few would argue with that. So now we're probably down to one scrum left in the game. 6 tackles to one side to hang on. 46 seconds to go. It's a penalty to Queensland. Mortimer saying, "Hey, what?" And he's walked him another 10 yards. Shut up, Steve Mortimer. Now Queensland on the move. Here they come. The red charge. Bruce Walker leading it. They got some of the New South Wales players are offside there, no question about it. The referee wanting to keep the flow of play going. Listen to that noise from the crowd. Lewis. Arliffe wrestling him to the ground. Bulldozing him. Crowd at fever pitch here. There's a kick. It's ricocheted. At 6 to go. And there's the hooter. The ball's been kicked over the sideline and New South Wales have come up with a dramatic win. 20 points to 16. The try scorers for the respective sides have been for New South Wales. Ziggy Niscott 2, Steve Mortimer 1, Izzard a try and only been on the field a few minutes, and 4 goals to Mick Cronin. And for the Queensland side, 2 tries, and they came pretty close together. 1 to Meninga, 1 to John Rebo, and Meninga kicked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. It's been a sterling game. I'm going to be back in just a moment to give you the man that we judge to be our award winner. 20 points, 16, New South Wales.